All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. This is your host, Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
Nicole, a.k.a. Il Mama.
And we have a new guest on the show joining us today. Who do we got?
It's Rodney Wallace, a.k.a. White Black Guy. Here to throw in some Walking Dead stuff.
I appreciate it. Rodney's a good friend of ours, good friend of the show. We go back to the old school bartending days of the infamous N Club and all that fun stuff. Infamous being the key word. Today, we are going to be talking about all things zombies. Halloween just wrapped up, but we're always in Halloween mode and Halloween season here. So Nicole came up with the idea of doing just a zombie-filled episode, and I said, why not? We haven't really talked about zombies since our very first episode, which was Walking Dead Season 8 recap. So we're going to be talking about favorite shows, movies, characters, all that fun stuff towards the end of the episode. Rodney is going to get us caught up on what's been going on The Walking Dead as of recently, because I am, I guess I am half a season behind. So I finished Season 9 with the Whisperers, all that fun stuff, and Rodney's going to let us know what's been going on Season 10 of The Walking Dead. But we'll go ahead and kick things off with the one and only El Mama for the zombie episode.
Well, to me, zombie movies in particular is kind of its own subgenre. You have your mixture of comedies, zombie comedies, including Zombieland, which just came out with a second one.
Yeah.
I have not seen yet.
I know, I need to go see that.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I heard it was too.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead. Love it.
Classic.
And Fido, and there's many
I'm so glad you said Fido.
Yeah.
Very underrated movie.
And then for the zombies, you got your zombie romance movies. So you have your Warm Bodies and Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And yes, I actually watched them.
Okay.
They're actually pretty good. And then my favorite are the zombie apocalypse ones. I love the apocalypse ones. The 28 days later, 28 weeks later.
Yeah.
Those are the most horrifying zombies ever. The ones that
Legit
sprint
scary.
at you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got the World War Z, which I really like that one.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good. Plus, I love Brad Pitt.
What woman doesn't? And what
man
doesn't?
Night of the Living Dead, of course. Legend, which is kind of one of those underrated movies to me because it was a loner in the world of...
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
I
Yes,
Am
okay,
Legend.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, Legend.
I was like,
Tom Cruise.
I Am Legend, yes.
Well, granted, there was a scene in Legend where a dead thing came alive, grabbed a ghoul, took him to the hole, and fell in.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I just
No, you're
kind
good.
of came out of nowhere with that one.
I like the clarification there.
Day of the Dead. And Return of the Living Dead.
Brains.
Which are your OG zombies, the ones that just wanted the brain. I love it. And then your Resident Evil series. Of course.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably the first one. And then the second one. And then, honestly, after that, I didn't really like them as much. But
The entire
They kind of
shitstorm
trailed
after
off.
that.
They did. They really did. They really did trail off. And then et cetera, because you can pretty much imagine what kind of zombie movies there are and then just run with it.
Yeah.
And they have. So those are my movie picks.
Okay.
Shall I continue or do you guys want to talk about movies first?
Let's do a round of movies and we'll get to the television shows.
Okay.
So Rodney, like, what are some of your favorites? Whether they're comedies, the serious ones, like what do you got as far as?
Well, I mean,
zombie
she
movies?
touched on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Here recently,
She touches things a lot.
I like to touch.
World War Z, like, the reason their zombies to me are kind of terrifying is because when there's no noise or anything, they're dormant, like and they said in the film.
Right.
And then we're there near the end and they're just standing around and all of a sudden they just hear the slightest tink.
Right.
And they just, like, they come sprinting right at you. And then at the very end, spoiler alert, where Brad Pitt's standing there and the one's right outside the door just making the weird noises and chomping his teeth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seemed pretty good, but
that scene was so damn creepy, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's just standing there. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm Brad Pitt. I'm just going to stand here and just have this look in the camera.
Long.
Like, there's only going to be so much time that the boyfriend's going to sit here in the movie theater and be like, okay, I'm tired of looking at Brad Pitt thinking.
I'm never tired of that.
But
that's her screensaver.
Yeah.
she just I don't even want to touch the TV. I just want to do my computer by itself.
I just watch his head bop around.
But I mean, other than that, I was actually thinking about the 28 days later and 28 weeks later, where it's a whole different type of zombie because it's like the backstory. They're produced by rage from like they were like doing it to like animals and they got
Monkeys,
bitten. Yeah. And you know, that's what I've noticed about the zombie genre over the past 2 decades where they're trying to almost give you a reason why they're zombies. Like they're trying to give you more backstory than just, like in the 80s, this military chemical thing fell in the graveyard. And everybody comes popping up like Thriller or something, you know, and starts dancing in unison.
Well, I think that's probably the most terrifying thing about the zombie idea is that it can develop from biowarfare or scientific experience. There's no way to know. And then, of course, we imagine what the worst case scenario would be, and the zombie apocalypse would be it.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's absolutely, to me, it's absolutely possible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
with the chemicals and stuff that's in food now and high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
And all, I mean, it's something that can happen. Just like you said, I Am Legend. It was supposedly a cure for cancer.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's right.
And it mutated into something else.
Yeah.
And wiped out everybody except for Will Smith because apparently Will Smith can't be killed.
Man, he's the
like
shit.
Ever. So,
he's gonna live forever. I will say, anytime I hear sirens for like more than 5 minutes, I'm like, this is it. Here it is.
It's gonna happen.
It's fucking happening right now. Like anytime I hear just multiple sirens, fire trucks, ambulances, I'm like, oh God, today's the day.
Yeah, I'm just like the SpongeBob. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go get my apocalypse stuff, and I go pack everything up. Like, okay.
We'll definitely get into the like our little apocalypse emergency kits here a little bit. For me, growing up, first impressions, of course, was the original Night of the Living Dead. Good old George A. Romero kind of giving us our first look at what zombies would be like. My thing is, and as a kid, I was petrified of just cemeteries and graveyards because of Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. I just did not like them. I would walk as fast as humanly possible by them. My thing is, though, that as I got older, you start kind of, maturing a little bit, quote unquote, maturing. But, like, to me, I was like, it would take a lot to, break out of a casket as, like, you're decomposed pretty much, and then come up 6 feet of dirt.
Yeah.
So, I kind of became at ease more with cemeteries. I'm not saying the zombie apocalypse couldn't happen, but now I'm like, it's going to take a lot for somebody to break out of a grave and then dig their way up.
From the cemetery.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can now sleep well at night watching Return of the Living Dead and all the other Night of the Living Dead movies. But to me, I think, besides the 80s, Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite ones. It's a fun little spoof. It's the first time you actually see zombies talk, communicate, and run. 3, like, petrifying things if they could ever do that. And if this ever happened.
And,
but,
think, though. I mean, the one guy pulled that girl out of the closet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrapped the chain around it, was, like, pulling her out with
Right.
I was like, what the hell?
Right. And they could smell brains, which is just weird.
Maybe that's why they ate brains and helped them think that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it kept their bodies animated or whatnot. But I mean, I really love the 2000 era because that's when we got the 28 days later, 28 weeks later with, Jeremy Renner, who went on to play Hawkeye. And I like Idris Elba. I always fuck his name up. He was in that too. Of course, the first one was Cillian Murphy. And then, now he's doing Peaky Blinders and that show is awesome. That's when we also got the Dawn of the Dead remake with, Zack Snyder before he went on to the DC universe. And that is one of my favorite, just zombie movies in general, but definitely one of my favorite remakes. You said Fido, very, very underrated, just kind of campy, classic 1950s suburban zombie movie. Of course, Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland, and 1994 gave us a very, little known film called Cemetery Man. And, if you ever have a chance, watch it. You can't stream it. You have to, find it at, a used bookstore or some shit like that. But, like Ed McKay's. But it's pretty much this guy who's like a cemetery keeper. And his job at night is to keep the zombies from coming out at night. Then he ends up, falling in love with one and shit gets all crazy. But, Cemetery Man. Check it out. 94. So those are my films
Nice.
So as far as shows, what do you got going on?
Oh, you're going to actually be shocked, I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
So obviously you've got your Walking Dead,
Right.
which is on to its 10th season, so you know it's awesome. I watched this one called iZombie, which was
On the Sci-Fi Channel.
so
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's cute. It's adorable, and I
Yeah.
like it. I like that they take the zombie idea and turn it into something kind of interesting. But and then you got your Santa Clarita Diet, which is hilarious. If you've not watched it, you should. About I wouldn't call it like a. It's kind of like a disease, Bosnian disease or something.
Doesn't she get it from like a
happens.
restaurant or some shit like that? Eating
Clams
something bad?
or some shit. Yeah, clams, and causes her to vomit profusely, and her pancreas or something comes out. I don't even know what it is. And
Shit just comes out.
And then she craves blood and human flesh and stuff. So
The usual.
the usual, yes. But she's got her husband and her kids who are like taking care of her needs, and it's cute and adorable and funny. Game of Thrones, surprisingly, because the White Walkers, right?
Yeah,
awesome.
they're zombies.
Awesome, and love the White Walkers too. Z Nation and Fear the Walking Dead, which I haven't really watched a lot of Fear the Walking Dead because I was so involved in Walking Dead and kind of stopped watching it a little bit. So once I pick that back up, then I'll probably do Fear the Walking Dead too.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons and enjoyed it, and I just I do what I normally do. I stop watching.
I dropped off because I know that they have crossed over some of the characters from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead,
Right.
and apparently they're working their way together.
That's what I heard. And then there's like another spin-off show coming, apparently.
They're AMC is almost like they're banking all of their TV on The Walking Dead and spinoffs, just like HBO is banking a lot of stuff on the Game of Thrones spinoffs.
Right.
So I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, because aren't they coming out, with 3 movies with Rick Grimes?
Mm-hmm.
So those are supposed to be, I thought the first one was going to be coming out this year, but I guess they pushed it. So we'll see what's going on with like the Rick Grimes.
He's
the
such
same
a
guy? Or
Yeah.
Really?
So they, quote unquote, and then obviously those of you who listen to the show, we got spoilers and shit ahead, so I shouldn't have to warn you. But, they killed him off, but they didn't really kill him off the show. What happened was, what was her name from the dumpster people?
I know who you're talking about.
She ends up picking him up as he's like more, it
She
looks like he's mortally wounded.
She technically has like government people that
the
she
helicopter.
works for. The helicopter comes, picks him up, and like the last scene you see is Rick on the helicopter, this, that, and the other, flying off.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll touch on a little bit of that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, and yeah, we'll definitely get into that Walking Dead. But yeah, they fly off. I wouldn't say fly off into the.
Yeah, it's not a love story.
No. Apparently, Rick Grimes will be in some other part of the world.
Is it Jadis?
Yes.
Jadis.
Yes.
Jadis. Yeah, Jadis. No, that is correct. So, yeah, that's where we are with The Walking Dead. I forgot where the hell I was even going.
We were talking about shows.
Okay.
And then you were talking about spinoffs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, because I was wondering how they caught up. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Rodney. With the Fear the Walking Dead, obviously it shows the beginning of the apocalypse. So, they had to do some kind of a time jump to catch up where The Walking Dead is now currently, correct?
Oh, yeah, because the characters they've introduced left the show, I want to say, season 7 and 8.
Okay.
So you had the black guy, I cannot think of his name off the top of my head, with the bow staff that was at the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up leaving, and now he's on Fear the Walking Dead.
Right.
And then you had Morgan.
Yeah. There you go.
And
I
suck at names. And one of the saviors who
with
had
the scar on his
face.
Yeah.
He is now on Fear the Walking Dead also.
Okay.
But see, Daryl let him go and said, if I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
And, but the shows take place on different coasts. Like, one's on the West Coast, one's basically on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, I don't see the survivors really traveling across the country from, their home base of whatever. But it seems like Fear the Walking Dead is kind of making their way across the country to come over here.
Gotcha.
But I mean, there's other stuff that's happened this season that may hint to some characters doing like a little bridge over, like a little journey. Say that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you clarifying that. Yeah, iZombie, I was going to mention that. Just like you said, it's a very cute, campy show. The chick, she's a She works in a morgue, but
she works in a morgue.
I forgot what her official title is.
Yeah.
So she's got the dream job if you're a zombie because she gets just brains on deck. Brains on brains.
Gotta get them fresh.
And she, what I really like about it too, it seems like she has like a new way of cooking them every episode.
Yes, I love watching her.
Yeah,
that's so bad. I love watching her cook the brains.
But yeah, she'll do it like she'll make like sushi out of them. Like it looks like Chinese food. She's always coming up with, which I mean, I'm sure you got to come up with different ways to eat brains. I mean, just like you got to come up with different ways to eat chicken.
Yeah, she's a sophisticated zombie.
She is. I mean, she's sexy as hell for a zombie too. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. And then another one I really like is Ash versus the Evil Dead. It's a great take on the Bruce Campbell kind of saga, which originally started with the Evil Dead, went on Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. And Lucy Lawless was in the first season. I watched the first couple seasons. I actually need to get caught back up with it just about like every other fucking show I'm watching. But that one to me is a good.
Well, Starz puts out they put out a good product because it was on Starz, correct?
You're right.
I mean, they usually put out pretty good series when they put their mind to it. Yeah. So I've caught a couple of episodes, but like you, I caught it and then something else caught my eye, like shiny keys. And I'm like,
little lasers on the wall and just chasing after them. Are there any shows that we left out, Rodney, that you, I mean, I know there's not a ton of zombie shows out there, but.
Well, there's a show it was a BBC show called Being Human that they remade to be an American show on the Sci-Fi Channel. Well, it's not technically a zombie show. It's more of a vampire, ghost, and a wolf. But later on into the seasons, it turned to where the female character, who was a ghost, and she got reanimated and became alive again, but she had to start eating human flesh to stay alive.
Always
because she started like losing her hair, her skin started peeling off, and she immediately turned into a zombie. So it's like they touched on almost every single genre you could think of.
Okay, nice.
You know, so through that whole season, she's like eating. You know, she starts working at a morgue actually, and she starts eating this and like eating people, and then like she goes to somebody's house and eats their cat, and it's a great show altogether. That's just one season of it.
Yeah.
There was another one I had in my head, but I can't put my finger on it right now. But it was it wasn't like the monsters or anything, but it was the whole context of it was like a family, and they were doing, I can't remember what it was. It didn't last very long because when it came out, it was during that time where people weren't into zombies and everything. People were more into sci-fi, like science fiction, like space, stuff like that. But if it pops into my head, or if I can actually find it on IMDb, I'll blurt it out.
No worries. Yeah, because to me it seems like the 2000s. That's when we had like the great comedies. As I mentioned, as far as Fido, Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland, as well as the good ones, 28 Days Later and Day of the Dead. But it seems like 2010 on is when we started getting the good shows. Walking Dead debuted in 2010. iZombie was 2015. Ash vs. Evil Dead was 2015. And the programming, still seems solid. As mentioned, Rodney's going to cover the latest season of The Walking Dead. We're going to take a quick little commercial break for Andrew Newman, attorney at law, and we'll be right back in a jiffy. We'd like to take the time to thank one of our sponsors, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. Located here in Greensboro, North Carolina, he can assist you with your criminal as well as traffic violations, and his practice includes Guilford, Forsyth, as well as all surrounding counties. To set up a free consultation, you can contact him at 336-663-2388, and you can also visit him on his website, attorneynewman.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. And, in case you are just now tuning in, which I don't know why that would be a thing, because this is a podcast, not a radio station. We've covered favorite zombie movies, television shows, and now we're going to get into video games. And El Mama will go ahead and lead us off with that.
Yes. So my absolute favorite video game, zombie video game, is going to be Left 4 Dead 2.
Good game.
It gives you kind of everything you want, plus you can play multiplayer, which that is unheard of nowadays. You don't do multiplayer unless you go online, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Then you're playing with complete strangers, or you have to get someone with another console. Anyway, I'm not even going to talk about that.
And I digress.
So the reason why I like it is because it gives you an opportunity multiplayer, but you also get to kind of see a variety of different zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your boomers, the boomer, which is the huge one that like blows up, the charger, the hunter. I don't know. You guys have already played this, so you already know.
Yeah, I didn't know the official names though, so I like
okay,
I like where this is going.
Let's go through this.
Oh yeah.
So the boomer's
For those
the big
that have
one.
not played, yeah.
The charger is the one that's like extremely huge, but he's got like the overalls. So he's got that one big arm. That one that when you see it, you're like, oh, fuck, run. And then you've got, because he's the one that charges at you, obviously, because he's the charger.
Sure.
And then you've got the hunter, which is the one that, like, sprints. And he's got the hoodie on.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Then the jockey is the one that's, like, creepy. He's got those arms, and he kind of looks like a hunchback, the jockey. And then the smoker, the one that is, he has the extremely long tongue. Is the smoker?
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You remember that? You don't remember that?
No, I remember that, but like
Smoker.
Ron said, I didn't know it was called the smoker.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I guess
I was
they
just
couldn't
trying to kill shit.
I guess they couldn't call it the liquor because it's from Resident Evil. So
Well,
yeah, true.
I think that he has some smoke come from him.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then the spitter, you got that big woman with the pigtails that just blah.
Well, it's got to be a woman.
And the acid. Because she's got a bra on. I hope it's a woman. I don't know.
Well, just saying, why is a woman got to be the spitter?
Very true. Very true. Speaking from experience, I am a spitter. No, I'm kidding.
wow.
Inquiring minds across the world wanted to know.
The tank, which is the really big one.
Yeah.
He's the one that throws, I think, and he like hits the floor and like it vibrates and you're fucked. And then
It's usually how it works.
the witch, the one that sings like her little sad song, and then you come to her and
Like
you're like,
draws you in.
yeah, you're like, I don't really want to go near her, but I know I got to take care of this bitch that takes me forever to get rid of. But yeah, that's the reason why I love that one. And then you got the Resident Evil games, which are really cool because you have to think a little bit.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more strategy. They're a little bit
Definitely.
more...
Some of those puzzles were hard as shit.
They were.
I loved them, though. They were really awesome.
Then you had to find out like what herbs go with what,
Yeah.
to improve your health. Because it definitely wasn't just your shoot 'em ups. Rodney mentioned during our commercial break, House of the Dead, which is just a fantastic shoot 'em up zombie game.
Yeah,
it's at your local Boxcar or Dave and Buster's usually. That's definitely one of my favorites. I had a Halloween party one time where I had an entire room dedicated to just House of the Dead on the Wii, which was a huge hit. Resident Evil is what kicked it off for me as far as zombie. I mean, I'm not just for me, but I'm sure the world as far as zombie video games. Because I really don't remember too many besides the original Doom, which, you talked about. And that one was more like you were in hell. So there's so everything down
in
there. Yeah. But the weapons were so fucking dope. And that one was a legit just shoot them up, get out of the rooms. There was a couple rooms where they had secret rooms and secret compartments that you had to dig for. But that was about it as far as the extent of puzzles.
But don't forget about Fallout, because Fallout is an awesome game, too. It's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, very good call.
You've also got the mutated beings, which I guess you could call them zombies, sort of.
And it's more of a strategy survival. Like you're trying to live the whole time instead of just running around first-person shooting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these newer games, they've gone away from just the blatant just shooting people thing.
Right.
It's more of I've got to... Like there's one game out, and it's not on my list, but you literally start out after the apocalypse, and you have to meet up with you can meet up with other people. It's almost like a Walking Dead type game.
Okay.
Whereas you have to try to survive with all these zombies around. You kill them, you go, but you have to go out and harvest.
That's kind of like Fallout.
It's a lot of them are starting to do that same survival zombie apocalypse type of game.
You have your task.
Yeah.
You have your little map. You have your
this is a safe zone.
different
This is a safe zone.
villages.
Yeah. Then you can go in a village, and if the people don't like you, they could just shoot you, and your whole game's over.
Right. Which unfortunately, I think that's how it would be. During an apocalypse, it's going to be everybody for themselves and trying to form your own little communities and not being able to trust people. And that's what I can't stand people that are anti-Walking Dead. They're like, oh, it's just some zombie shit. I'm like, no. I'm like, the zombies are just kind of like filler. Like, it's more about like the struggle of humanity and how we would get along as a society when there's no law and order and there's shit trying to eat us on a daily basis.
Like, are you better off alone or are you better off in a group?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
True.
Exactly. So speaking of which, I have some questions for Rodney and Nicole here, as far as if there were to ever be a zombie apocalypse. So we'll start this off with Rodney and then go to Nicole. Like, what would be your weapon of choice, whether like real, mythical, from a video game? Like, what would be your go-to weapon during a zombie apocalypse?
Well, ever since you said this to me, I've legit been thinking about it. And then, like, when I'm sitting at home watching The Walking Dead, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use that. I mean, and I'm not a handgun person, even though they would be ideal, but you're going to run out of bullets eventually.
Right.
I'm more of like a weapons person. So I'm sitting there thinking maybe, I know Michonne uses like the full length, like 32, 42 inch katana. I would rather have something a little bit shorter.
Sure.
Maybe 24 to 36 inch, two of them. I've got one to hold off, one to slash with,
there
and
you
just
go.
keep working. I got my offense and defense.
I like your strategy,
like,
man.
I'm very. This is not just something I was like. I'm just thinking about this today. It took me a lot of thought. I'm like, I need to be able to, because I'm sitting there thinking, I've got my kids and their mom, and they're probably going to be kind of freaking out, so I've got to be fighting everybody off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, and if, I would like to have maybe something close combat just in case I start to get overwhelmed. I can just stabby stab and keep moving.
Stabby stab. Prison shanks.
But yeah, like just like short katanas.
Okay.
Two-handed, two hands, keep it moving.
Yeah. Slice
and dice through the lane.
I like it.
But that's basically it.
I like it. Offense and defense and protecting the family right over here. Il Mama, where you at?
I actually dig Michonne's katana because, for one, it's silent, and for two, she's got reach, and I'm a female. I don't want any of them near me, so that would probably be ideal. Plus, like, maybe like a big knife along with it. Then, in case one does get closer, that would come in handy.
Oh yeah,
but definitely a sword, because those things are awesome. Plus, they don't require bullets.
They don't require bullets at all.
And bullets cause noise.
Yep.
So.
And that just brings more of them in there.
Yeah.
I should have thought this through a little bit more. I went the complete opposite direction of y'all.
You got to think it's not a movie. You're not going to have endless bullets.
Sure. But I did say like mythical or like weapons that may not have been real. So that's where my mind went. Now, so I'll break it down. So as far as real world activities, yes, I would love some kind of like double-sided weird hybrid nunchuck knife system. just to kind of keep them off me and, do the offense defense role. But if it was like a weapon from movies or other television shows, I would really like a lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, especially Darth Maul's double-sided shit.
Oh yeah.
But realistically though, and this weapon does exist in real life and it's just one of my favorite weapons of all time. Very loud, very impractical, but you can mow down so many people with it. I gotta go with a Gatling gun, just Jesse the Body Venturas and the Predator.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to mow down forests here, people. So I'm trying to clear a path, trying to make my way through. I mean, it's gonna be heavy. It's very, very impractical for the zombie apocalypse unless you have it like on top of a Jeep, which we'll get to like what rides we will have in a second, but that would be my go-to. So fictional lightsaber, real life Gatling gun, real life some kind of knife situation.
real life, so I'm not dragging around a Gatling gun.
Right.
But I never thought about it. I'm sitting there thinking, dang, you just, like you said, just mowing them down.
That's it. That's
even if you're not hitting them in the head, you're cutting stuff off. Yeah. They're hitting the ground, and people just come in and do cleanup.
Yeah. Exactly. Just like Jesse the Body Ventura says, I ain't got time to bleed. All right, so as far as rides, this can be like an MTV, what was it, Pimp My Ride edition of the zombie apocalypse. And we'll start with Il Mama. What would be like your ride during the zombie apocalypse?
I would have two. Of
course you would.
My first would be for like travel and long distance would be a tank.
Right.
My second, if I needed to get some like from A to B quickly, it would probably be some sort of horse or equestrian type situation, only because I don't want to have to search for gas.
Good
Plus, a horse can get you from point A to point B, and they're completely reliable, and you just feed them.
There
So
True.
Like it.
So I think that would probably be. I mean, when you're in the zombie apocalypse, you're starting from ground one.
Right.
You're not going to expect resources. You're not going to have them. So that would be my choice.
Right.
Makes sense.
And we run out of gas like whenever there's like a tropical storm coming. So you figure a zombie apocalypse, gas is going to be the first fucking thing to go. Zombie. Rodney, where are you at?
Zombie Rob.
Zombie Rodney.
Let me think. Like, because you said the Gatling gun on top of something that immediately like just changed
that
up
can be
everything.
A ride. That can be a ride.
But like me, I would want something like you. I would have more than one form of transportation. But like, see, I like the whole bus idea, like from the
Resident Evil.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead,
Yep.
where they have the bus and they retrofit it with everything.
Yep.
You got a big old snowplow scoop on the front, just mowing through people. You know, you got the windows and everything. And see, the good thing about a bus is if you get one of these tour buses, it's got a toilet and everything you can think on it. Like you can like
kitchen.
Yeah, you know, you stop, you board up your door. The zombies can't get in. They don't know how to use, you know, their phalanges or anything to open anything. And you can kind of keep going. But then on the back end, you're like, okay, yeah, I need something that's going to get me from A to B really quick. Like, you know, horse, or then there's really no other animal you can ride in the apocalypse.
A buffalo. I would love to see someone riding a buffalo.
You're not going to catch a deer.
Yeah,
you know, you're not going to have like a tiger or anything, you know. But yeah, like a horse for if like you're just like needing to get like run out and be like, okay, I need to go scavenge for something real quick and not make a lot of noise to not draw a lot of attention. And then if the horse gets spooked, you immediately know something's coming.
Oh, yeah.
And you can take off back, you know.
But then you got to worry about the horse taking off on you.
Yeah.
Especially you don't time
Hopefully
up
it does not.
Right.
I'd be like...
Be like, hey, boss, I tried to warn you. You just hear the gallops in the fucking background. Like, God damn it, Julius.
Knew I should have paid more attention to Boy Scouts about not.
As far as transportation, I was actually going to say the short buses from the Dawn of the Dead remake, the way they retrofitted them with like the chainsaw area on the sides, and then they had the gas tanks that they could throw out.
Yeah, like a Mad Max situation.
Yes, that is exactly correct. Because like Mad Max too, I would want kind of like what Daryl has in The Walking Dead, a motorcycle too.
Yeah.
So that way, I mean, granted they're not quiet, but you can be in and out. Yes, you have to worry about gas. And, I mean, of course, a horse would be great, but
not much gas. It's a motorcycle.
Yeah. Very true.
It's very fuel efficient. Yeah, for sure.
Very eco-friendly during the apocalypse.
You're not going to get like a Tesla, you know, or Prius.
Right. You could get a Prius, though, and just go like 5 miles an hour, and then nobody would hear shit. It would take you forever to get there, but nobody's hearing you.
That's right.
I think at that point, too, zombies would be like, "Oh, it's a Prius, man. Just
I don't want to eat you."
Before we do wrap up this episode, Rodney has been watching season 10 of Walking Dead. I have not been purposely missing it. I'm just a cheap ass and I don't have cable. So he's going to kind of like give us a recap of where we're at right now with season 10 of Walking Dead. This was, for those of you that have just been checking us out the past few episodes, our very first episode was a season 8 recap of The Walking Dead. One of the shows we love, you know, as mentioned, it's just one of those things. It's 10 seasons in now. I don't have live television, so I have to wait till pretty much next year when it comes on Netflix, or just get on my brother-in-law's sling. So, Rodney, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, this season so far, we're up to episode 6, which comes on Sunday at 10 p.m. on AMC. Shameless plug. We are
not sponsored by AMC.
It's developing very slowly. It's not. It's a lot more dialogue than action so far this season. For those like you who aren't really sure what's going on, and there's going to be spoilers in what I say. The Whisperers have kind of put their foot down with the survivors of where they're allowed to go and not to go.
Okay.
And you know, the end of season 9, they left them a huge message by taking out some of their very main characters that have been in the show for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
And leaving their heads on spikes, and then letting them know, hey, these are our borders. don't come across our borders or you have to pay for it. And Alpha, who is, you know, the main lady.
The main bitch.
Yeah, she's pretty hardcore. I'm not a huge fan. I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and this is just me. I'm not a huge fan of the Whisperers. They just start to get on my nerves after a while.
Right.
You know, not so much like the Saviors.
Right.
And Negan was just very charismatic and made you want to watch him.
Love it.
But like, Alpha is very like methodical and just like one of their biggest sayings are, we feel nothing, we want nothing,
right.
You know, we fear, you know, and that's like, and she's like that.
Yeah.
Like she's a cold-blooded
I could definitely see
bitch.
that last season. Yeah. She don't give a shit.
And the actress that plays her, who is, I've seen her in other things, it's Samantha Morton. Okay. She was actually, I know a lot of people probably won't know who I'm talking about, but she was in Minority Report. She was the girl that Tom Cruise stole and walked around with.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And
now I can put two and two together.
Yeah, and
that
like,
is her.
The only other big movie I saw her in was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. She was the mom that was against witches and wizards.
Okay.
Who he ended up killing, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But so when season 10 picks up, it's a couple, you know, it's after the winter storm where they had to cross the borders again to get back to Alexandria.
Right.
And Negan has kind of proved himself to not be Negan anymore because he goes and saves Rick's daughter.
Right, during the storm.
During the storm, and actually saves Judith and saves Dog too, because Dog's just out there running around. They're at Oceanside at the very beginning.
Okay.
And they're training on how to fight zombies because they know that Alpha has a horde of tens of thousands of zombies that she could unleash on them at any time.
Yeah.
So they're training there with shields and, you know, arrows and like getting all their stuff together. Well, the whole first episode there's like 3 or 4 different episodes. There's from Oceanside, there's from Alexandria.
Okay.
Well, the whole time this is going on, there's a satellite that apparently crashes back into orbit and crashes maybe a couple miles from Oceanside, setting the forest on fire.
Okay.
So they have to cross into the border and put everything out.
Gotcha.
Well, they do that, you know, and then of course Eugene wants to salvage stuff from the satellite.
Eugene.
Yeah. Yep. You know, well, that's basically the whole first episode is them just showing what happened. This is the first time though they've mentioned Maggie at all.
Oh, okay.
Since she exited the show to go be on her show Whiskey Foxtrot or whatever on ABC, that is no longer a show.
Which is why she's coming back.
Which is why she's coming back. But they referenced her, they referenced Rick, they referenced Tara, who was the leader of Oceanside, whose head was actually on one of the pikes at the end of season 9.
That's right.
So it was nice of them to just kind of stick everybody in there. But that's basically the first episode. They start getting overwhelmed by walkers because, of course, a satellite crash with fire is going to draw in a lot of attention.
Right.
And at this time, the Horde isn't around. Alpha, Beta, none of them are around. They've moved south for the winter, like ducks, I guess. But what's funny is at the end, near the end of the episode, the Alpha and the Whisperers see the same satellite coming in.
Okay.
It's building up to where they're going to have to go on the offensive because at Hilltop they dropped apparently a huge tree fell through one of the retaining walls.
Okay. And
started letting walkers in. And people, I call them the newcomers. That's like the new group of people that showed up.
That showed up last season?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy from the Fantastic Beasts movie, the 2 deaf girls, the Asian chick and the other chick. You know, they go outside the gate and start fighting while everybody else is trying to save the people that the thing fell on.
Okay.
And then while they're doing all this and they subside that, they get a call from Oceanside who says something's happening there. So it seems like Alpha is strategically attacking each community to weaken them, soften them up.
Gotcha.
So she can either A, do one huge attack.
Yeah.
To really knock them all out.
Yeah.
Or she's just going to keep doing this until, you know, like you said, the mid-season thing will be where
Always a cliffhanger.
Yeah, she'll cut all you're going to see is a bunch of walkers heading towards a bunch of tired people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But it's the season so far has been, it's a lot of build up.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of build up to some massive huge fight that's probably going to end up happening.
Gotcha.
In my opinion.
Okay.
But,
well, usually I guess villain would probably be the best term to use, but usually the bad guy character, it lasts several seasons.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Negan lasted, I don't even know, a couple, Governor
2 to
lasted,
3?
yeah, Governor lasted
about 2 to 3.
a couple.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, how is it these group of people on The Walking Dead, the main characters, how they haven't, like, gotten to that point where they've created this huge clan to do the same to these people. I mean, I understand that their mindset is not the same.
Right.
You know, they're not trying to control, they're just trying to survive. I mean, I think that's what everyone's trying to do, but it just seems crazy to me that they're always the ones being attacked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
and they're just trying to chill and mind their own business.
Third or fourth time. I don't know. I've lost count. But I mean, at some point you just have to be like, man, I better go somewhere else or really kick up my game. Cause
Well, that's a lot of the dialogue. There's one dialogue between Daryl and Carol where he's like, let's just leave.
Yeah.
You know, let's get on the bike and drive west.
That's exhausting, man.
You know.
I mean, you're not just battling zombies. You're battling fucking insane people constantly.
Relationships.
And relationships.
And, you know, there's, like I said, there's a lot of dialogue. I didn't write it all down. You have Aaron and Michonne, and Aaron's like, are we the good guys?
Yeah.
Right.
And Michonne's like, what does that even mean?
I'm sure it gets a little fuzzy after a while, though. You know?
They're actually asking the questions you just said. They're asking them all this season. Are we the good guys?
Right.
Like, are you not just tired? Like, seems like we're fighting, like we're living from fight to fight. That's all we're doing, you know?
Right.
And then Lydia tells Daryl, she's like, you people, you act like this is a paradise. It's like, and my mom said it, y'all wear masks of politeness, but as soon as things go bad, you need somebody to aim and shoot at. And it's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, granted, waves of zombies coming in, like first it's 5, then it's 10, then it's 20, then it's 30.
Right.
And then they have all of Alexandria surrounded. You have this huge tree that all of a sudden falls down, and right behind that tree is 50 walkers.
Right.
Seems a little shady. It doesn't seem
Something's in the air.
Yeah, you know. But I have a feeling that it, like, to me, the culmination of the Whisperers and Alpha and everything is going to be her and Carol.
Yeah.
Going at it. That's not a person I want to I don't want to fight Carol.
Hell
No.
You know.
Yeah. Maybe the first couple seasons, but now that bitch.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've already seen Daryl already threw Beta down an elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Fool got up.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? You know.
Yeah. Opie from Sons of Anarchy. That dude don't play.
You know.
Met him in real life. He is very nice and very tall.
I saw him on The Talking Dead, and he's, you know, huge presence, you know, big guy. And I've never seen him in anything else. And I didn't do enough research to find him in anything else.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Walking Dead cast is like that. They're people you've never heard of, but they come in and do these amazing roles.
Agreed.
You know.
Yeah, whoever does the talent staffing for that, I mean, top-notch work. Because the girl that plays the deaf character, I can't think of her name, but she legit is deaf.
Yeah.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So she was on the Talking Dead, and, you know, she had her interpreter with her and everything, too. They wanted to bring in, you know, someone who was authentic.
That's awesome.
So, and then she's in a movie coming up, too. I can't remember which one it is, so I don't want to.
That would be Connie. Her name is Lauren Ridloff.
Okay. There it is.
And actually, the next episode, I watched the previews. Kelly, who was her sister, she's very. What's the word when you can't really tell if they're a guy or a girl? There's a.
I don't know what the word is
because it's an Asian thing, like we were talking about earlier. But like it's very ambiguous or something.
Yeah. Right.
But like she's starting to lose her hearing.
Oh, okay.
And like, because people are like, "Hey, watch out!" You know. So like they're signing each other and this, that, and other. And like, I don't know this character.
Yeah.
I know the character, but I don't know the actor. But she's like the preview. She's like trying to hunt, and like she's using a wrist rocket slingshot, but she can't hear. but like all of a sudden, like she has to put her hand on stuff and she can hear like she's hunting a boar.
Vibrations.
Yeah, and she hits the boar and then she's trying to see if it's dead. So she puts her hand on it and all of a sudden you see this boar's face and you hear the heartbeats. But in the background, you see walkers coming up, but she doesn't hear them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you know, so
Damn.
it's very intriguing the way that they're filming it too.
Okay.
Because before the scene cuts off, she falls down like this thing and she's bleeding out of her head and mouth because she was running with a knife. So I'm assuming she had to cut herself or stab herself at one point. And she's leaning against a rock. She can't hear anything. And you just see this walker coming up and you see it running its hand around this rock that she's leaning on. And the last thing you see is this walker's hand right near the face. And then, of course, it cuts out and I throw my controller.
I love the walking. I love how they give those cliffhangers.
They do.
I love them.
Those bastards.
They're good at it.
They are.
It's a decent build-up season. Honestly, just like a lot of the Walking Dead seasons. There's not any huge deaths in the first season or the first couple episodes.
Right.
You know, but it's one of those things where this season, supposedly season 10 is the actress Michonne's last season.
Yep. I've heard that.
Maggie's coming back next season. So I don't know if they're going to try to lead it up to, because all the previews you see her holding Negan's bat. You see, you know, this person covered in blood, this person fighting this person, and none of this has happened yet.
Right.
This is all, you know, preface of what's going to
come.
And
usually what they show you now in the previews is what's going to be the first part. They don't really show you what's coming up after the break when they come back in February. So it should happen. Awesome. Rodney with a little recap of season 10 out there.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, that is going to just about do it for our zombie episode. We hope you all had a fantastic Halloween. Make sure you check us out on our website, popculturepodcast.com, courtesy of our good friends over at Zibster. That's Zibster. Again, find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're going to start Twitch soon, finally, thank God. So be on the lookout for that. Zero Dark Nerdy for all things pop culture. And of course, thank you to Attorney Newman. Again, Andrew Newman, attorneynewman.com for all your legal needs in North Carolina. So that's going to do it for us. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah! Victory! And anger management? Fuck anger management.